Our first panel, we're going to be talking about the impacts of immigration policy on immigrants and churches. And our moderator is Levi Ismail. He's going to come up and frame the discussion and introduce our panel.
Okay, so I'm just going to go in order for who I have right in front of me here. So first and foremost, we have Kim and Snellgross, correct? Okay, and Kim, you are a sponsor for the gentleman to your left here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce all of you, and then I'm going to ask some questions, and then we can just kind of take the conversation from there. Right next to you, we have it's Kevinson John. Perfect. Okay, and you are a Haitian parolee, correct? Okay, got it. And then right next to you, we have Pastor Aura Torosian. Perfect. And you are with the you're also an Iran refugee. Iranian refugee, yes, and pastor over at the Cornerstone Church. Perfect. And then to your left, we have Pastor Luis Sora, correct? Okay. And you are a outreach pastor, Franklin Community Church? Okay, perfect. So we've got a number of folks here, okay, representing a wide range of the spectrum when it comes to talking about immigration and immigration reform. So, I have questions here, and I'm just going to go right down the road. Kim, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of describe to me the process that you are following to bring Kevinson here to the U.S.
Sure. So in January of 2023, within days of it being announced, I applied to be a sponsor, a CHNV parole sponsor for Kevinson and his wife, Shirley. And so that involved us submitting documentation to the U.S. government proving that we were financially capable of supporting them and willing to cover their needs. Kevinson and Shirley were very lucky that they were chosen for parole about 6 months after we applied. And then they came and lived in our home with my family for about 6 months until they received their work permits and were able to financially support themselves, at which time we helped them move into their home and become settled and acclimated in America.
Talk to me about that experience, Kevinson.
Well, I'm so glad to be here and this evening.
I was going to say, I can hear you. I don't know if they can hear you.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here in this event, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It was an amazing day. Like I was so happy when the former president launched the CNHV program, and when my sponsor Kimberly Snellgross told me that if I'm still interested to come in the U.S., and my answer was yes, I want. And it was an amazing experience in a long period of wait and wait time. And after I got approved, I was very happy. And then I had to pass a very vigorous background check to come here to the U.S.
Gotcha. That's an amazing story just in and of itself, that we have people, who are willing to sponsor and bring folks to the U.S. I'm going to ask questions just down the row here. But before I get to all of that, I want to make sure that I introduce myself. So my name is Levi Ismail. I'm an investigative reporter for NewsChannel 5 here in Nashville. I'll keep it very brief, but Kevinson's experience is not unlike my own experience with my family. My family and I immigrated my family and I are from South Sudan, and we immigrated from Egypt to Minnesota following the same path as Kevinson. We found sponsors who were, with the church, and they were willing to take us in and said, hey, we will have you staying with a family for about 6 months or so before we just let you figure out the United States. Jobs, apartment, school, all of that stuff that I'm assuming you're going to be figuring out on your journey as well. Okay. And so I said I was going to keep it brief. I'm going to keep it brief. But I want to get to Pastor Aura. If you wouldn't mind, talk to me about what immigration looks like, that conversation around immigration looks like for you in your congregation.
You want to introduce myself first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is this not working?
We're gonna just pass the mic down the road.
One,
apparently.
two, three. Yes.
There it is.
We are pastors, so we love Mike. With sound, not quiet Mike. We don't like it. So I'm Ara. I came as a refugee with my wife through legal way called Lindenberg Program that President Reagan created, and I was waiting for my paperwork for 4 years inside of Iran. I got persecuted in Iran in 2005, smuggling Bible, and 2 years house on arrest, got tortured, and lots of things happened to me and my wife. And we decided not to have any kids in Iran, and we waited for 5 years. In 2010, we arrived as a refugee. We went to actually Austria through Hayaz, is a Jewish organization working with this program, and we went to Austria, interview with there, and after 6 months we arrived in U.S. And in 2014 I became U.S. citizen, and in that moment, yes, freedom, and got my passport, and then born in Iran in the passport, which is sometimes traveling outside of U.S. and coming back. But I'm proud to be a U.S. citizen, and for many years I didn't have the rights to speak, but I know my rights right now, and as an American citizen, so I'm advocating for my people that they got detained by ICE.
I see. Thank you so much for sharing that. Before we pass it down, I do want to ask about that, that situation in your congregation in Los Angeles. You're talking about, ICE being in the neighborhoods, ICE always being a topic of conversation, especially now. I mean, if you can just kind of describe to us what those conversations are like.
Yes, as when I arrived in Los Angeles, so I start planting the church, and I end up in the Cornerstone, West Los Angeles, and start the Iranian church we call Tehrangeles, West LA. Lots of Iranians, and I preach gospel. This is my job. Like, I'm not a politician. I don't know anything about politics, which is I'm a Republican registered, but I don't know politics in the U.S. But I'm as a pastor, I have a heart for my people. And I'm glad that I see our lawyer, Lance, surprisingly, that he's a lawyer of two of our members in detention center. And I'm glad that he's doing an amazing job pro bono. He's thank you, Lance. I just want to say thank you. It's amazing. Even our Iranian lawyer gave up and says I can't do it, but Lance came in and do it. I don't know how, but it's just God provision. So I was lots of our Iranian refugees, when they're coming, they don't have the family, and I'm telling them, like, if anything happened, call me. And then they call me the first day, on 22nd, they got family in immigration, and most of them, they came like asylum. Lots of people in social media, and I start posting, and also my video went viral national-wise, that I was on time recording all this, detain our family, and then went viral. And many times I felt like they don't have the family, they have the church. And most of the people in social media, they're telling, oh, they're illegal. But I'm saying there is no legal way for Iranian refugees, especially Christians, to come to United States. In my time, there is a great program. And actually, my family members also, they apply for that program. And we got letter 1 month ago that suspended this program, the program, so they can't come. But in which way Iranian can come to United States. There's no legal way. Even there's a program, Welcome Corp, through World Relief, which is we partner and we try to do it. I went through all this process and classes, but end of the day they said, "Oh, no Iranian," and most of the people that are coming through the previous program. Present program, and they have work permit, they have documents, they have they show up everything in immigration, and still they're in detained. Two of our members in ICE detention center, and one family with the kid also they released a few months ago, 2 months ago, and they're also in the process of doing all this paperwork. Yeah. My question is, through every post that I said there is no legal way for Iranian refugee Christian to come to United States. So how they can come? So my heart is with them, and also my heart broken lots of times. Even today I heard 100 Iranians got deported with the charter back to Iran. My phone is not turning off because everybody's calling me. They think that I'm savior for Iranians, but I'm not. So I'm just advocating. My heart as a pastor is for Iranian people, and so broken. And especially now, I just talked to 2-3 people before I arrive here. And I don't know what we should do, and I'm praying that Lord will bring. And I know that Jesus' heart is with vulnerable and also people that heartbroken and persecuted. Like the first church started with persecuted Christians and vulnerable and displacement. And Apostle Paul, like there is lots of Apostle Pauls behind the borders in detention centers, and I'm thinking that we need to bring them back, and many of them, they should go back to Iran also. There is apostles in the detention center that they can be preaching gospel to their families back to Iran. So, okay. I don't know what should I do, Levi.
Well, you're doing quite a bit. I mean, your phone says exactly what you've been up to. I mean, this is it's a lot of work, and I know a lot of people are counting on you to keep pushing forward. And so we thank you for sharing.
And also, I want to publicly thank to World Relief, everyone, Matt, you guys really came alongside of me in Washington, D.C., and from beginning supporting and doing lots of things alongside of me. I really appreciate it. And we need more people like World Relief to be part of this movement and part of this. And I encourage you to learn from them, and they can be a good role model for everyone in America to be part of this immigration voice.
Absolutely. You know, now I'm thinking, Pastor Luis, I think we are the only ones local up here right now.
We are, yes.
We are.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm counting on you. I mean, obviously, I cover a number of different issues when it comes to immigration. We were just talking earlier at the table, as Kim asked me, do you cover immigration? I said, more now than I ever have before. But I want you to kind of explain to the folks here what you are seeing, what your experience has been. I mean, maybe a little bit about you too, but also what we're seeing here locally when it comes to the ICE enforcement and the immigration crackdown.
I can't define it in one word, but I had to speak. Mm-hmm. But the one word is everybody's scared. You're scared. Everybody's afraid. Kids are afraid to go to school. Families are afraid to go to church, to go to work, because of the tensions are going on right now. If you were to ask me, how is it right now after May 4, the week of May 4 to May 10, it was so difficult. And then it slowed down for a little bit. And if you ask me 2 weeks ago, how does it feel right now, I will say, it's okay. But just last week, it was a detention here in Springfield. They got 32 people. And I got a call this morning from one of the reporters, local reporters. They pick up a family last night, and they pick up another family this morning. So I was just going to give you a brief introduction of what's going on right now. But this is not new for us in Tennessee. Tennessee is one of the worst states to live as an immigrant. I'm sorry if you offend anybody, but this is one of the worst states to live in. I've been in Tennessee since 1998, and it's been so difficult to live here. What do you say? Why do you go back to your country? Well, I always joke about this, but the border crossed me. I didn't cross the border. Of course, I had to cross back, okay? And I'm going to be honest with you, when I crossed back, I didn't know no better. I was 16 years old. My brothers brought me. So I was innocent. Or coming to the United States. I didn't want to be here. Definitely. But since I am here, now I feel like I need to speak for people who cross the border just as I did. Now, I'm a U.S. citizen, okay? So don't call ICE right now, because I'm a U.S. citizen. I didn't bring my passport, but I got my my ID. But anyway, but it is so difficult to, especially I live in Franklin, Williamson County. If anybody lives in Williamson County, you can feel how it is there. You know, I've been in Franklin since 2007, and since 2007, I've been working and helping our immigrants because ICE is always after us. And I kind of use this word, but it probably is not the right word that I need to use, but they're hunting us. They're after us. They're going knock on the doors. I was speaking with the manager of the trailer park next to our office, and he was so sad what was happening right now in the trailer park. He said all the families in the trailer park, probably 90%, 85 to 90%, all the trailer park are Latinos. And guess what? The majority of those Latinos, I will say, they're not illegal. They're not. They have crossed the border with a political asylum or with any permission from the U.S. government.
You know, I heard you say you were brought here. This wasn't necessarily something that you chose to do. You were brought here. I'm curious, for the folks that you've talked to who are here in the U.S. now, and they're experiencing that fear, do they regret coming here?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do they regret being here?
Some are there fixing to go back. I have people coming to my office because I'm also the founder of Better Options Tennessee, and we do help newcomers. And since I'm not Latino, so most of the Latinos come and ask for help, but that doesn't mean that we only help Latinos. But yeah, in the last 3 months, I have families come to me to help them to notarize their letters or get a letter for their kids to get them in school where they, Nicaragua, a lot of people from Nicaragua have come to my office. Some of them, yes. Not all of them.
Okay. I know, and just another quick question for you. I know that you mentioned that this is not new when it comes to Tennessee, but you know, if you've been following reporting, it seems like we're getting more and more legislation, more and more push to, you know, at one point, lawmakers here suggested, you know, students pay an extra tuition, you know, a certain tuition if they are undocumented here in the U.S. or they're not U.S. citizens. You hear stuff like that. I mean, for someone like myself who's seeing it for the first time, I'm going, I don't know where this is coming from, but is it new? Is this something that, what do you think?
It is not new, but they're using violence. If I say that word, we've seen this before, and we have seen in 2008, if I'm not mistaken, it was a new law that they were going to use police to if they'll pull you over, they'll take you to custody, and you get deported. And from 2008 to 2000 I would say 15, it happens. I was at county jail every single day trying to get somebody out of jail. But right now, they're using violence. They're after each. They're treating us as criminals. And if you're a criminal, it's because you don't have a driver license and you have you're not legal here. That's a criminal for them, or for whoever is after us. I'm not considering myself criminal. I'm brown, but I'm not considering myself criminal. If I don't have a driving license, it's not because I'm a criminal, because I don't have the opportunity to get a driving license. I got an interview by Channel 17 at one time. They asked me, why don't they have their citizenship? It's not that easy.
Yeah.
We want to do the right thing, but it's not that easy because the system is not allow us to do the right thing.
I do want to ask Kim this question because you're coming from Texas. Okay. And you may end up having to use this microphone. Okay, good. So you're hearing, we talked a little bit about Tennessee, but it always seems as if when we're talking about some sort of immigration crackdown, even long before we saw what happened here in May, Texas was a part of the conversation and has been a part of the conversation. Describe to us the climate out in Texas when it comes to even having conversations about immigration reform or doing something where you're sponsoring an immigrant to come to this country.
Sure. And I would say, and this is probably true in much of America, what you see on the news is very different from what's happening in day-to-day life. So our governor, Governor Abbott, passed into law earlier this year that all sheriff's departments in the state of Texas are to be sworn in to act as ICE agents. And so in the state of Texas, the sheriff's departments are actually the highest level of law in the state. And so they now are acting as ICE agents. And so this is naturally very concerning. And so my pastor, Kevinson and I's pastor, we called our local sheriff and we asked for a meeting. And he very graciously met with us, he and his chief deputy, and we sat with them and we just said, what does this mean? And he just very honestly said, we were legally required to sign this. We did not want to do it. These are our neighbors. These are people that lived amongst us. They contribute to our community. While we are required to sign this document to act as ICE agents, we have no intention of serving raids, of arresting our neighbors. We plan to live and let live. As we stop people, we will have to do warrant checks. If they have a warrant, we will arrest them. But so I think there's a difference between what the media wants to tell us is actually happening, whereas actually I think many people are very welcoming and do understand the importance and the need and the plight of the immigrant.
Well, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of all media, but
I didn't.
No, I know. She was looking right at me when she said it.
A certain fact.
No, I totally understand that because we're not privy to all those conversations, right? What we see for the most part is coming from what people allow us to see. Sure. And so that right there is a great example of being able to say, listen, I'm going to go right to the sheriff's office and just say, hey, I want to learn more. I do want to ask Kevinson, right? You've now heard from many of the folks here on the panel about the fear that exists in the U.S. right now when it comes to immigrants just trying to live in this country. What does that feel like for you?
Well, that's a great question. It feel like I'm living in the fear, fear of being not living my dream, and then fear of being targeted and then sent back to a third country and like go out to work because now I'm the one of the backbone of the United States. I'm a truck driver. Since I came here, I go to school and then learn, and now I got my CDL, and now I'm helping the country moving forwards, And now each day, if I'm wake up and then if I had the opportunity to go to work, I'm always wondering like if I will ever go back home, if I will see my wife, see Kim as my sister, or see my community. Like it's always now since then, it's always living in the fear,
Well, and I think, I'm sorry to speak for you, but last week, Kevinson had the opportunity to take a load to Laredo, which is down on the border in Texas. And the call was, should I take this job? And so the fear is also, is it worth earning money, the risk of being deported? And then we also saw when we were sitting in the back of the room this morning that the state of Texas, along with many states, are no longer renewing CDL or issuing new CDL licenses to any non-U.S. citizens. So no refugees, no asylum seekers, no parolees. And so my dear friend who put himself through school, has been gainfully employed, and whose CDL license renews in February of 2026. Now we don't know what the next step is, which just feels like one more roadblock and one more hurdle.
Well, listen, I want to thank you all for speaking and sharing those experiences. If you guys wouldn't mind, give them a round of applause real quick. Absolutely. You might remember we asked you guys to send in some questions. There's a QR code right on the table there. I have a couple questions already, specifically for Pastor Ara. How are you trusting God and having faith in the midst of this injustice, as they said?
How can I trust God? It's a good question. What I know, one of the things that always I'm trying to realize, trust even government. I don't want to hate. So many times I felt with even my kids. My daughter is 8th grade. They're born here, and my son, I allow them to watch what's happening. And sometimes they hate and they start, oh, this is not good, this is bad. And I said, you should not hate America. And I believe every government, and on the other side, some people, they think that the government is the complete, but I know every government has the mistakes. Everybody is a sinner. But in the meantime, I believe that we are foreigners, according to the Bible, and we are in journey, and our home is not here. Even I'm a proud American. I love this country, and when I swear that I'm an American citizen, I promise myself to fight for freedom, because I never had the freedom in my country. And I'm trying to me and my wife teach our kids to love this country. And I'm telling, you have opportunity that I didn't have in Iran, and you can make it better. And trusting God is in faith. And I remember that I'm not belongs to this world. Mm-hmm. And doesn't matter where I am going. There's lots of stories behind this, what I'm thinking. Anywhere that I go, or even my citizenship get revoked, I don't fear, because I came for many years. I live in fear in Iran. I got tortured in Iran. Even in the prison, in dark place, I said, this dark place is the best place for me, because Jesus is with me. So, and I think trusting God is when my faith is telling me, Emmanuel, Jesus is with me, and I trust Him with my whole heart in my weaknesses, and I know that it's going to be good in end. Yeah. So,
Amen. Next question is for Pastor Luis. What do you need from non-immigrant churches? How can they support you?
Pray. Oops. Pray. Nashville is the city of the church. I heard yesterday there was a church for every 700 people here. I heard that yesterday. I would say that there is a church and a Bible study for every 500 maybe. There is a Bible study in every corner, in every coffee shop, in every Starbucks. Jeremiah 29:7 says, seek the peace of the city which I will send you, and pray for it. And when you pray for that city, you will find peace and prosperity. So I invite the church to pray for us and be the voice for us.
Last quick question then for Kim. Describe to us, what your experience is like, so perhaps maybe other folks might be able to see themselves in the same type of role as a sponsor someday.
Sure. So I've been thinking a lot about a similar question. And I have had the opportunity to visit with a variety of journalists, not just you, Levi, this year. And one of them was with Christianity Today. And she is fantastic. And we were having this conversation about where I was 2 years ago and how we got to where we are today. And I very strongly believe that this is not my story. This is Kevinson's story. And when I was telling her all of the things that we did and how we got here, she said to me, nothing that you have done is remarkable. Nothing that you have done is special. The only thing that you have done is follow the teachings of Jesus and answer the call to the Lord, which is what we each are called to do as Christians. And I fully believe her. She is correct. And I feel the same way. Why are people looking at us? We have done nothing but share the resources, the access, the privilege that I have with someone who I love. And if every Christian in America did that, what would our country look like?
Absolutely. I want to double check as far as time is concerned. We're good? Okay. So I want to ask one last question to our friend Kevinson. And this is me asking this. I didn't see any more questions on there. But how can we better support you?
That's a great question. I think make your voices heard, because me alone or my friend Kim alone, our voices will not be able to reach the lawmakers or the White House. But if each and every one of you like speak to us and make your voices heard, um, it will be a huge help for me and for other people in my situation.
Amazing. Again, I want to thank all of you for making the time and speaking with us, sharing your stories. One more time, guys, give them a round of applause.